Hello guys. So last time we worked on completing this system, which is the flush analysis, and this one here, which does a straight analysis. So we get straight flush up here and the normal flush down here. So now we have access to all these types of information right here, which we can use to display and analyze later on. So basically, after we analyze everything that is there, we will proceed to see what is important and what is not. Now, the next thing we need to determine comes out of here, basically counting, right? So this will basically give us whether we have a pair, a two pair, three of a kind, four of a kind, or a full house, or just a normal high card, which pretty much everybody always has a high card. I think it is pretty silly to even consider what the possibilities are of someone having a high card. So I'm not going to include it. So we need to check these 5 categories. So first thing we would need to do is come here and use this array that we came up with. I've been trying to figure out what can we call this, because I have no idea what to call this. So I'm not sure how to describe it. This basically is just gonna add the system for us. So how do you just say that? This is just like a, I don't know, sum, pairing, numeric analysis. Yeah, we can do that. Numeric pre-analysis. There we go. This will basically is numeric pre-analysis. So we're going to need this when we care about the numbers in there. Now what we need to do is we need to take this here and basically just count. We're counting, we're looking for just the number of zeros, number of ones, number of twos, number of threes. If we do not care about their position, right? But actually, now that I think of it, we do care. We do care if a pair, is it a pair of just what is this here? The ace, or is it a pair of kings, a pair of queens? We do care. So I would like to know if there is a pair, and if there is one, where is that pair? So what I will do is I will go ahead and do a brute force, go through this list. There are just 8 numbers, but then when you multiply this 1,000 times, it becomes a lot. But for the time being, just run a check on this and tell me whether this specific one has any 2s or not. If it has more, then we don't count it. If it has 1, then I don't care. I just care about the 2, 3, and 4, and where each one of these is. So we're going to get each one of these a number, and we're going to check if this number is equal to 2. And it's going to be true or false, and I would like to convert this into a simple yes or no. So this is actually the entire setup for this for loop. This will tell me if there is a 2 or not. Let's see how this works. And bam, no 2s at all. Let's go ahead and add another 5 in here. Let's run it. Hey, look, it found a pair. So now we know that there is a 2. Now how do we do this for a 3 and a 4? Well, now that you asked, we can actually run the for loop twice. We can run the for loop multiple times to figure out where each one of these is. So if I were to create a small array of 3 numbers, the number 2, the number 3, and the number 4, number 2, 3, 4. and remove the index and remove the number 2 from there. Create a secondary for loop here. This should be disabled, and search for each one of those, please. And the output will be a double array, which I can just do a normal indexing of 1, 2, and 3. And now this here will tell me how many 2's there are, and there is only 1 2. If indeed that is true, perfect. Perfect. Now we know. And as you know, knowing is just half the story. I don't know what that saying is, something like that. So let me go ahead and condense this really quickly here and give it a name, and I'll get back to you guys. So there we go. Now we have this, which does just basically counting. So it counts the 2's, 3's, and 4's. Now, once we have those 3, now we will know whether we have a pair, if we have 2 pairs, if we have 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, or a full house. So let's see, how do we do this? First and foremost, let's do this the simple way. 3 of a kind and 4 of a kind, there can only be one. There can be 2 3 of a kinds. We will need to figure out which one is the higher 3 of a kind. So let's go here. Now we're gonna get into some kind of trouble. So if there is 1, so we're gonna take a numeric, an array, and we're going to do a search. We are going to search our original array for an element. I'm sorry. We're going to search our new array for an element 1, and if it finds it, so if this is greater or equal, if this is greater or equal to 0, if it finds it, it will give me a number that is greater or equal to 0, in which case I will have a selector. If it is greater or equal to 0, I would like it to index. Is it index? No, it is not, because I don't care. If it is true, I would like it to basically do some very simple technique on this system, on this equation here, to give me that, or else set it to this, create constant 0. It's that simple. Now this number here is going to be where the location of that is, which is probably going to just have to be 14 minus x. And let's get an indicator here, and let's see where that is. There it is. And now we're checking for 4 of a kind, so I'm going to create the 5 as a 4 of a kind. If this says 5, we're good. This says 0. This says 0 because we have them all on the same type, which is impossible. Let's run this again. Perfect, we have 5. Let's run this continuously and try to get all these aces. We have aces. Can we get 2's? We can get 2's. Perfect. Everything works. This here is our 4 of a kind detector. Perfect. Isn't it? There we go. And there we go. And there we go. This basically checks for a 4 of a kind. And that's it. This is a very simple independent checker that checks for 4 of a kind. Add frame before, and let's go back here, Make it as small as possible. Back here, and I'm gonna call it 4 of a kind. Analysis. There we go. And again, just like before, this will be 4 of a kind. 0 is no. N is number. So which 4 of a kind is it? Now, ironically, 3 of a kind is the exact same. So this here can be done again just the way it is for 3 of a kind. So just like we did for the straight analysis, I can just come here because hold on, sorry guys, we can actually have 2 straights of a kind, not just 1 straight of a kind. So we might need to adjust our tactic, because there may or may not be a second 3 of a kind. Well, how do we do this? We will need to detect the first one, save its value, and then try to detect the second one, save that value. Therefore, let us go ahead and take this sequence, copy, paste, and I'm going to make it bigger for now, and input 3 of a kind, input, make this way bigger. We're going to need a ton of extra space, because what did we just do? We just found it. This tells us where we found it. If we found one, we should then, and only then, check for another one. So if we found one, we should run a second check, if this is true, for a second one. Now the second one, we should first of all take the array and replace. First thing we do is we take our initial array and we replace wherever this was found, wherever that was found, with, you guessed it, a 0. 0 gets all the attention. So now by converting it and getting it back to 0, we can go ahead and check this new array for any new or different number 3s. Hey, you guys know what? I just realized the first number 3 we find is going to be the highest one, which is the only one that we're going to care about. We don't care about any other 3. We don't need any of this, guys. Alright, I'll do the 3 next time. Bye, guys.